Hi, my name is Argie. I'm looking forward to spending time with you during this yoga session. This yoga session is based on an Iyengar style of yoga, which is precise and deliberate and focuses on one asana or pose or posture at a time. Therefore, we're going to work our way gently and methodically through the poses, and my cues are sequential. Don't feel that you have to do every single thing that I instruct for each pose. Take it as far as you can so that you are sturdy and comfortable in the pose. You can still breathe, most importantly. We will begin with our feet together. We're going to first participate in a mountain pose, which is Tadasana. So the feet are together and they're broadening under us. We have the toes lengthening forward and the back curves of the heels sinking into the mat, as well as the outer edges of the feet. So if you can feel those 3 points evenly, that's a good foundation for our Tadasana. The energy runs up the legs, picking up the kneecaps a little bit, okay? The baby ribs feel like they're dropping down and in. Shoulders are broad. In fact, more than the shoulders, think about broadening from armpit to armpit. That way your armpit doesn't get crumbled inside and you don't scrunch there. The armpits feel like they're open. And lifting up, the arms long, down to the fingers. Imagine that there are waves of energy leaving out from the fingers, allowing gravity to naturally extend the arms, and then we'll float the neck and the head off of the shoulders. Again, all of these cues go into Tadasana, but if you are not ready to participate in all of them, just do as many as you're comfortable with. Right? Some of you are more experienced and all of this is sort of something that you've heard before, but for others of us it could be new and different. We're going to pull the face back a little bit, make it expressionless, and breathe in and out through the nose as though your breath is coming and going in waves. We're inflating the shape with our inhale and deflating it with the exhale. And deflating doesn't mean collapsing or slumping down. It simply means to empty the breath from the shape as completely as possible. So, even though you might think that your exhale is complete, be patient. Take a second more and relax the lungs more, and imagine that there's still a little puff of air waiting to exit from your body shape. Breathing in and breathing out through the nose. The facial features soft, the feet wide, the front of the body responding to an energy that's rippling up and sliding over the shoulders and gently sliding down the back of the body as well. All these cues we can attempt to incorporate into feelings of the body because that's a strong demonstration of the mind-body connection. And then we'll proceed to a different version of Tadasana, our mountain pose. And this version will float the arms up without disturbing the shoulders. Let's do that one more time, just to make sure that the shoulders are pulling the arms up. We're going to maintain all of the work in the lower body, the line of energy lifting up, tumbling over and down the back of the body, and lift the arms. Imagine that you're lifting them from the elbows. Without disturbing the shoulders, they maintain their regular distance from top of shoulder to earlobe on each side. Then we're going to rotate the upper arms, biceps and triceps, so that the inner elbows and your palms are exposed to the sky. Okay. We'll continue now, drawing the shoulder blade points down in the back. I'm going to turn around so that you see that these shoulder blade tips can pull down toward the back of your waist. They're anchored in the flesh of the upper back, and there they will stay while we press the arms up and bring them aside the ears, okay? The best that you can, okay? Even if your arms aren't parallel, it's important to bring them as far back aside the ears as possible. So here we are, running the legs long, broadening the feet, lifting the front of the thighs up, and lengthening both sides of the waistline while we reach skyward. Okay? This pose feels like the waist is lengthening ultimately. It's lengthening upward and downward. Okay? And we'll breathe, we'll find that good deep breath, that long exhale. Imagine that you're getting taller from your fingertips to your feet. The waistline, not only the sides of the waist actually, but all around, is lengthening upward and downward. Good. Then we'll take this into a tilt, willow pose, if you will. We're going to tilt first to the right, so the left waist lengthens, and we'll stay firmly planted down through both feet and legs. Keep the head between the armpits. Imagine that the shape of the spine now has assumed a gentle curve, and then on the exhale, bring us back to center. And then on the inhale, lengthen the right side of the waist and just take a gentle tilt. Be careful that you're not leading with your head. It's not about pushing your head or dropping it down to the side. It's about lengthening the sides of the waist. So we'll go one more time. Lengthening the left side of the waist, taking a gentle willow branch type curve of the back of the spine, and then breathing in to come center. And then on the next exhale, lengthening the right side of the body, the waistline, from your elbow to your knee, and finding a willow pose feeling and shape, and then coming center. Good. And then we'll float the arms down and find Tadasana again. And allow your feet to broaden and allow your breath to come to natural, neutral, regular, rhythmic breath that you have right now. Always breathing in and out through the nose in our practice. Yes. Then we're going to take a wide stance. And by wide stance here, we're attempting to align the hands to the feet so that if there were a plumb line drawn down from each hand, it would find the outside of the respective foot. Okay? Then we'll take a moment here to relax the shoulders down, pull the shoulder blade points down toward the back of your waistline, extend the fingers, extend the hands, open up the armpits, and breathe deeply and smoothly. Remember at the beginning of our session, in the introduction, I mentioned that our style of yoga is slow and deliberate and attuned to details of alignment. So that's why between every pose, we take a moment to receive the feedback from the body, okay? Just to find your neutral way of being, to find the breath, okay? To find your placement, your groundedness, and just to relax the brain for a couple of breaths. So here we are in wide stance. Preparing for Trikonasana now, we'll turn only the legs to the right. Okay? That means Right toes are pointing directly sideways, and we've swiveled the back foot, the left foot, swung its heel out to the side. Now if you look down at the toes, those toes are pointing diagonally across and forward. Yes? The Trikonasana means triangle pose. So we're going to make 2 triangles in this pose with your body. We're going to squeeze the hips first and swing them to the left and reach to the right. We'll try to keep the chest open and our gaze and our focus forward, and airplane the arms so that the right hand rests gently upon the right leg, gently, although that arm is extended, and the left arm reaches upward. The left chest is pushing the left arm upward, its palm facing forward. The 2 triangles that we've produced are between the legs and the mat, or the floor, and between the 2 right limbs and the right waistline. Okay? The shape of the spine doesn't change, only its angle. So we try to minimize any retraction of your right waistline and try to spill it downward so that the spine stays truly aligned to the midline of the body. The back heel presses down, the right front buttock presses forward a little bit. We're trying to find a maximum amount of space between the top of the head and your back heel. So press the back heel down, extend the spine forward, breathe, and then reach. Through the left arm coming up, the toes point forward. We begin again in our wide stance, and then we'll do that same thing to the left. Trikonasana by turning the legs to the left. The left toes point side. The right heel has swung out in order to angle the right toes diagonally forward. Yes. Relax the shoulders. Look forward. Always the front of the body is exposed forwardly in this pose. We'll squeeze the hips and swing them to the right and reach left and airplane the arms down without collapsing or twisting around, resting the left hand on the left leg. And then we'll push the right arm up by opening and lifting the right chest. We're trying, remember, to make 2 triangles with the left waistline and the 2 left limbs, and the legs and the surface of your mat form the second triangle. So, as much as we can, we need to spill the left waistline down and press the right heel into the mat and squeeze a little bit the left buttock, bringing it forward. See how that resonates, what a difference that might make in your pose. Using both legs evenly, breathing and expanding the distance through the arms and from the top of the head to your back heel. Reach up and come center. We're going to find each side one more time, a little less detailed this time since you sort of know where you're going. So from the wide stance, we're going to squeeze and swing the hips to the left and airplane the arms down and rest the right hand and extend the left arm by pushing it up, paying attention to the back heel and to the front buttock. It squeezes and presses forward, and finally paying attention to the right waistline so that it doesn't retract, so that it spills down and forward as though sliding down the front of your right leg. And breathe. Good. Reaching up, turning the toes forward. Take good, fine breaths, and then when you're ready, turning the legs to the left, including your back foot. So, we're going to squeeze and swing the hips to the right and reach to the left and airplane the arms down. No twisting or folding through the waistline necessary. And make a triangle with the arm, the leg, and the waistline, so that has to spill down, and make a triangle with the legs and the surface of the mat. And then we'll soften the inner ear and gently turn the head, gazing upward, forward if you hadn't already. Breathing, paying attention to the front buttock, the left buttock. It squeezes forward as we anchor the back heel down. A couple of breaths here, always in and out through the nose. And then to come up, we'll make sure the feet are firm. We'll squeeze the hips a little bit. Reach the right arm up, come center, and bring the legs back under us. This may be accomplished by jumping or walking and standing in Tadasana. Okay. I can't overemphasize how important and satisfying it is to just stand in between the postures. Okay. Not only from an alignment perspective, to come back to neutral and come back to groundedness, but also from a comprehensive perspective, to understand and feel and allow time for the work that you've done to resonate inside of you. See how you feel, in other words, after each pose. So breathe for a minute, pull your face back, float the neck and the head. Celebrate a little bit. Yay, you did that slowly and deliberately. Good. And then we're going to do a little bit of a balance, just a transfer of weight in our session today. This is simply lifting one heel, okay? And when that happens, we want to allow the toes to splay out, okay? So that you're on the metatarsal ridge of your foot, right here, where the toes meet the foot. You'll be on that metatarsal ridge, and then you'll push that metatarsal ridge of your lifted heel foot up and lift the other one too, and then lower the first foot down while you pick up the other one. This is really pedaling, okay? There are a lot of different ways and phrases that describe it. Pedaling, walking the dog. I don't know why that's so, but our idea is simply to transfer the weight and make it rhythmic, okay? So balance is elusive sometimes, okay? But it's important to exercise the vestibular system as well in yoga practice, okay? We try to exercise all of the systems of the body. As you go through transferring the weight, you can slow it down, you can even stop it once in a while and then start over again. Okay, do look forward though. Imagine that your waist is lifting and your armpits are lifting too, the top of your head is floating up. And you can go as slow or as quickly as you like. You can lower your heels. They don't have to lift way up, you don't have to pop up. Go, take it easy. Just see where it takes you. Sometimes a little music in your head makes a difference for the rhythmic element. And then instead of stopping all of a sudden, you're going to just slow it down and then be still. Okay. And as I mentioned before, it's important to stop and feel in between, not in a critical way, not even in an analytical way, just to allow a different part of your brain to open and receive and feel what has occurred. We'll continue then with another standing pose, and this pose is Virabhadrasana, warrior pose 2, Virabhadrasana 2. We'll begin by taking that wide stance, aligning the hands to the feet, okay? Opening the chest, relax your shoulders down, let the sides of your neck be long and your arms be long. The hands, by the way, are like blades at the end of the arms. You can think about it that way, to keep your arms and hands and fingers active. Then we'll turn the legs to the right. The upper body doesn't turn, no rotation there. We'll anchor the back heel, your left heel, firmly into the mat, but relax the right knee so that it bends 90 degrees. This is the place where it's important for you to adjust because people have a tendency to take too narrow of a stance. And then their knee strains to get it to 90 degrees, okay, or to keep it from going beyond 90 degrees. So maybe it's a good idea to take the 90 degrees in your front knee leg first, and then to extend your back leg as long as it can be. Nevertheless, here we are with the front of the body square to the wall ahead of you, the tailbone dropping down. The waist is gathered just enough to make a difference, okay, so you can bring energy and awareness into the torso. And then we're spreading wide from armpit to armpit. By the way, imagine that there's a balloon under each armpit, which might help you to keep the armpit chest lifted. And then the attention goes to the back of the skull, and I'm going to encourage you to turn your head from the back of your skull and gaze elegantly beyond the right fingertips. The shoulders low and wide. Take care that your back shoulder and left ribs haven't turned with your gaze, because the brain is strong. The brain, and the eye gaze and your visual orientation have a tendency to pull all of the big parts of the body with them. So this is another way that yoga creates awareness of the mind-body connection, and in this case, we want to separate the eye gaze from the orientation and the work of your rest of your body. So, turn quietly, keep your chin in, the back of your neck long, and then stretch across the chest into the blades of your hands. Good. Stretch from hip bone to hip bone. Take one or two more breaths and then come out. We're turning the legs and feet center, and then to the left to do the same thing on the second side. Shoulders over hips. We'll adjust the right knee 90 degrees, soften it. It should stay over its ankle so that it's not flopping in. And then stretch completely through that back leg. Anchoring the heel into the mat. We haven't turned yet because we want to make sure that we're not reaching to the side here. The shoulders stay over the hips and the torso drops straight down. There is also a strong tendency to reach to the side of the bent leg. We'll try to minimize that, and when we're ready, from the back of the skull, again without disturbing the right side of your body, we'll turn and gaze elegantly beyond the right fingers. Okay? Torso straight up and down, the tailbone dropping. We're gathering the waist a little bit and assuming the warrior pose. If you think about it, this pose, this body shape, is one that we find even in ancient art and architecture in terms of aggression or forward movement. Certainly in battle scenes in ancient cultures, this is like a classic warrior pose. So you can channel that, but be benevolent warriors. And come out. Each side one more time. Just to pull everything together, we'll rotate the legs to the right, lift the armpits, breathe deeply, and press into the lunge while the torso floats. Yes, then, without disturbing your upper body, from the back of the head, you'll turn and gaze quietly, elegantly, beyond the right fingertips, and spread your shape wide. Now then, stretch and straighten the front knee, turning center. Both legs rotate left, including your back heel. Remember to swing that out to the side. Then we'll soften the front knee, lengthen the back leg, and press into the lunge while the torso floats. Okay. Turning from the back of the head. This is a good time to feel where your bent knee is. It needs to be over its ankle. And if it's not, a little bit of outward rotation of that left thigh will help to get it there. So we're wide spreading from armpit to armpit, from hip bone to hip bone, deep in the breath, and then straightening the front knee, turning the toes forward. You may jump or walk with your feet under you. Good. And stand in Tadasana. That was a lot of work, a lot of things to pay attention to. So take your Tadasana, make sure your head is over your shoulders. Breathe deeply and just receive. We're going to breathe in and coordinate the movement of the arms with the full intake of air. So when the inhale is full, the arms should be overhead. You can follow them with your gaze and then take the same approach on the way down. When the exhale is finished, the arms are still. Okay? And that's something that you can do at any point in time. It doesn't have to be during or before or after yoga practice. Just, it's a good technique for slowing down your brain, slowing down your body, getting the full benefit of